Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Alzheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films and we watch people spinning the rewinds too fast without really breaking and keeping a constant tension on the source reel. So that's what happens. We've been scanning a bunch of films that we've slowly been moving back into our archive film vault. And so I've been pulling titles that I thought were interesting. This is the first one, Huffless, Puffless Dragon. Enjoy.
I am Dragoon. I huff. I puff. I dare anybody to take my bluff. I make girls faint, strong men fall. I'm the hottest dragon of them all. I burn up roads. I smoke out squares. They turn to jelly at my fearsome stares. All of the dragons are scared stiff when they get a whiff of my wow.
That's something else.
Man, he's the greatest, that dragoon. He makes me swoon. Yeah. Give me a puff of that wonderful stuff. Who's the square over there? That's Drag Night. A miserable sight. Oh, my, the wretched one won't join the fun. Stop dragging your tail and strike up a light.
Have a drag night, and get in right.
No thanks. I don't smoke.
He doesn't smoke.
A dragon who doesn't smoke?
Must be a joke.
Come on.
Come on! Come on!
Get the hang! You're one of the gang!
Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!
He don't smoke.
Come on! Come on!
He don't smoke.
Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!
He don't smoke.
Come on!
Hey, Dragoon, he does not smoke.
Come on! Come
He does not what?
He does not smoke.
Come on! Come on! Come on!
Okay, John. Stop putting it on. This ain't no joke. You gotta smoke. I said, this ain't no joke. You gotta smoke.
Go on, you're killing yourself.
Look out.
It's good night for Drag Night.
Make him sing your tune, Dragoon.
Go get him, Bill.
Yeah, get him. Get him, Bill. Get him. Get him.
You're yellow, fellow. Nicotine has turned you yellow.
Go get him, Fred.
You're passing out from a case of the shakes.
John. Take him on.
You can't fight. You're out of breath. Your lungs are out. You're through. That's what smoking'll do.
He's real cool. He's quite a guy. Go get him, goon.
square.
Why, oh, why did I ever smoke? I hack. I gasp. I faint. I choke.
It should be plain for you to see that smoking leads to misery. As for them, there's no question about it. Smoking is bad for you. Bad for your lungs, bad for your heart. Next time someone offers you a cigarette, have the strength to say, I don't smoke.
Howard Morris. Howard Morris, wonderful cartoon voice. He played Ernest T on Andy Griffith's show. He was also a director and, yeah, shows up in a lot of things. And Charlotte Rae, what a weird spelling of that. Charlotte Rae, of course, was on Facts of Life, Car 54, Where Are You?, which is one of my favorite shows. And she was also on a bunch of commercials and things. So, and that music was awesome. So don't smoke, kids, even though that Red Dragon was pretty cool. All right, we're going to bounce from 1964 to 1980. And I don't know what this film is about. It's called Arcs and Sparks, and then it has in parentheses testing. And I haven't watched it all the way through to figure out what the testing part is all about. So here we go. Enjoy.
Do you think of electricity as something that creates arcs and sparks?
arcs and sparks come from lightning, which is a natural form of electricity. Electricity could be dangerous if you did a dumb thing like this. But there are other and safer ways to learn about electricity. For example, magnetism is related to electricity. You probably used a magnet to do things like this. The metal clips are attracted to the magnet. But magnets don't attract paper, do they? Then what would you call this force? You can't see it, and you can't feel it. But there certainly is a force of some kind. It's a form of electricity known as static electricity. It's the same force that you create when you stuff your feet on a rug or a carpet in very dry weather. We can make our own static electricity with simple materials such as these. Let's conduct some tests and see what materials work best. We've seen how this plastic rod and cloth attract paper. What other kinds of rods work as well? You should try tests like this yourself. Your results might be different in some cases. Well, so far we've only tried attracting paper. Let's test some other materials. There are still other materials which respond to static electricity. These are pith balls. They're cut out of the center of the stem of a woody plant. We've suspended them on threads. They first are attracted to the plastic rod, but then they seem to be repelled by it. That's surprising. Why should the balls first be attracted and then repelled by the same rod? Does the static electricity in the rod change? Or is it something about the balls? To learn more about this, let's go back to the magnets for a moment. Magnetism and electricity are closely related. although they act and come about in different ways. For example, the magnet has no effect on the pith balls. When we tested the plastic rod on these materials, the static electricity attracted all of them. When we try the magnet, the iron filings are the only material it attracts. We think of magnetism as an invisible force that attracts other metal objects. But two magnets may also repel each other. It depends on how the magnets are held as you bring them near one another. You can feel either attraction or repulsion. What do you suppose causes this? Put a paper card on top of two magnets with a thin piece of wood separating the paper from the magnets. Then, sprinkle some iron filings on the card. If you sprinkle them evenly, you'll soon see that the filings form into the pattern of the magnetic field that surrounds these magnets. This pattern tells us some things about the lines of magnetic force. All magnets have poles. One is called a north pole, and the other a south pole. This isn't a real pole that sticks up like a flagpole. These are just names we give to the two ends of the magnet. At one end, we find the greatest concentration of one form of magnetism. We call this end the North Pole. At the other end, we find the greatest concentration of the opposite form of magnetism. We call this end the South Pole. North and South poles attract each other, whether they're at the opposite ends of one bar magnet or at the ends of two bar magnets, as we see here. Now, let's change the position of the magnets. We can see from the lines of force that two north poles, or two south poles, repel each other. Now, we've discovered something very important about magnets. Unlike poles, such as north and south, attract each other, and like poles, such as two north poles or two south poles, repel each other. Is pairing of like and unlike poles a clue to why the pith balls are sometimes attracted and sometimes repelled by the rod? Yes, static electricity can behave either as positive or negative. In this way, the two forms of static electricity are something like the North Pole and the South Pole of a magnet. Positive and negative electricity attract each other. But two negatives or two positives repel each other. When we rub this rod, we are giving it a charge of electricity. A static electric charge, such as we are causing, can be either positive or negative, depending on the materials we use. Let's say this rod has a negative charge after we rub it. At first, the balls appear to be attracted to it. However, when one of them touches the rod, the ball picks up a negative charge from the rod. Now the rod and the ball have the same charge, and thus they repel each other. Try this yourself. It's a good, safe way to learn about electricity. Another safe way to find out about electricity is with a wire and a battery or dry cell. Now you're arranging for electricity to flow in a conductor in some ways as water would flow in a pipe. Do you want to prove that electricity will flow in this wire? Place a pocket compass beside the wire. This pocket compass needle is really a small floating magnet. What do you suppose makes it line up with the wire this way when we start the flow of electricity? There are many simple and safe experiments that will help you learn more about electricity and magnetism. You can have fun learning about electricity and magnetism. And you don't have to make any sparks and arcs while you're doing it.
So I apologize for not turning off the microphone. Thank you for telling me in the comments. I was eating a delicious apple, and I guess, yeah. Anyways, so it's experiments. It's not just testing. I mean, you are testing, but yeah, the title just threw me off. I was not quite sure what we were dealing with there. But the one thing I do remember is the fact that I guess I was in the fourth grade. We had an open classroom. It was this new school in Ohio, suburban Ohio, and we had wall-to-wall carpet. And we found out very early on that you could shock people. You could just rub your feet on the carpet and generate static electricity. And we had this theory that if you held like quarters in your hand, then you could get like a super shock. And so what we would do is go up to sharpen our pencils, and then on the way back we would, shuffle our feet and then like go behind somebody and like shock their ear. And I never got in trouble for that. I think the teacher didn't catch on to what we were doing. But yeah, there you go. There's a brief picture into my life. What I want to know is what happened to honesty. And that's what this film examines. So we could certainly apply that to contemporary times, but it's always been a problem. So enjoy.
Why are there so many rip-offs these days?
Oh, you got it? What's it up?
I'll put them on.
Well, There's always been thieves. I guess there always will be some.
Every society's had problems with stealing, haven't they?
It seems to get worse and worse all the time.
Rip-off seems to be the new national pastime.
But you know, this growing rip-off business seems to make life rougher for all of us.
What can you do about it? Put locks on everything?
What a way to live, locking things up.
Does everybody have to steal?
I'd like to think I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it, that's all.
Yeah? What if it was something that was laying around, nobody watching it, and you knew, I mean you really knew you could get away with it?
I still wouldn't do it.
Yes, but a lot of people do it. That's why there's so many locks and bars.
Yeah. Some of these places look just like jail.
No, security is one thing, but jail is something else. Everything's behind bars in jail.
Same thing out here.
I've seen jails in the movies. They have guards all around, and they even watch you on hidden TV cameras.
The worst thing is, nobody trusts you. I bet if you go to the shower, they watch to see that you don't steal the soap.
Same thing out here.
Hey, it is kind of like living in a big jail.
You know, if everybody who stole something went to jail, I mean, if they caught them all and put them in jail, there wouldn't be near enough jails. They'd have to build a lot more.
What's really happening is that the whole outside world is turning into a jail. What's the difference between a security guard and a prison guard? Their job's the same.
You know, more rip-offs lead to more suspicion of all of us.
Have you noticed how no one will lend you anything without a deposit or sign for it, even if you're in trouble?
That's because someone's always ripping it off.
That's no consolation if you're out of gas.
Lots of times there's no towels at the swimming pool. They shouldn't take it out on everybody just because some people steal.
Go on. I bet you have some of the towels at home. Everybody takes stuff.
Well, just look what happens. The rest of us do without any towels.
Well, you still have to be careful. You know, always lock up your bike.
But a good lock and chain costs $15 to $20.
Yeah, and you get tired of locking your bike every time you want to get off, especially if you're in a hurry for class.
And they can still get it. Or at least part of it if they really want it. I know a guy who lost everything but the wheel.
Rougher. A thing like becomes a big...
That's why I say, we've made the whole outside world like a jail.
I don't buy that. At least we're free.
Free? How free are we if we can't leave anything around? Have to lock it up, worry about it all the time. Everything has to be watched.
People will steal anything that isn't nailed down.
A friend of mine had his skateboard ripped off a couple of weeks ago. Now his dad's mad because he didn't keep an eye on it, and he won't buy him another one.
Skateboard? That's nothing. Someone got away with my 10-speed. I worked all last summer for it, too.
Sometimes it's even hard to spend your own money. They even lock up the cashiers.
I don't care what it is. People will rip it off. I've even had my lunch stolen. That's really cheap. Stealing your lunch.
What about the supermarkets? There's so much stealing of food. The grocery store is beginning to look like San Quentin. Mirrors, monitors, one-way glass. I get tired of being watched.
But I know some guys who think it's okay to steal anything that isn't being watched. Their shoplifting hurts all of us. You know who pays for everything that is stolen? You and me. The store raises the prices on everything.
I guess the only thing left to do is to put guards all over the place. Homes, parking lots, schools.
Can you imagine how much that would cost?
It already costs a fortune for the security the stores have to use. And you know who pays for it.
One on the west side is going to become one. 10-4, is that the north or south alley? I don't know what side that is on. B-Day, that will be the north alley. 10-4, B, I'll meet you there.
Well, that doesn't make life any easier if you have to hire a guard to watch every piece of property.
Huh, maybe that's the way to solve the unemployment problem. Hire half the people to watch the other half.
But who's going to watch the guards?
They already spy on you. You may not know it, but they do. Closed circuit TV.
539, check the girl in the yellow sweater. She was seen putting a bottle of shampoo in her purse.
They have to spy on people. Otherwise, they lose half the store.
And what about the burglar alarms? With the rip-offs these days, you can't open a business without paying for a security system. It's like buying protection.
How does it work?
I don't know. But if a burglar trips the alarm, it is fed to a security center. This machine records the time of day and alerts the police.
Equipment like that must sure cost a lot of money.
Have you seen the bars people put on their houses? I bet that costs something.
Rip-offs cost everyone a lot of money.
And then there's the politicians and the big businessmen. They're all crooked and they get away with it too.
Aw, come on. They aren't all crooked and they don't all get away with it.
So Big Brother has to watch the executives as well as the little guys. It all adds up to the same thing. Everyone's under surveillance, just like jail.
You know, when you first started talking about it, I didn't go for it. But now that I think about it...
Just take a look around. Maybe we don't notice because it's gradual, but it's starting to get real heavy. Locks, bars, guards, snoop systems.
The more rip-offs we have, the more time we waste locking up property.
We're asking for it, as long as everybody thinks it's cool to rip off.
It's gross. It's making the whole world around us gross. It's making us gross.
We're sure making life rough for ourselves.
Boy, I wonder how it'll all end up. I wonder how the world will look in a few years.
I already told you, like a jail.
One thing for sure, if they have to keep spending money to guard property, there won't be much left for good things. like parks and playgrounds.
I'd rather have more parks than guards.
You're right. Swimming pools, camping grounds, tennis courts.
Why do people rip off? They're making the whole world ugly.
I resent all the locks and bars and restrictions.
Well, it's our own fault. More rip-offs mean more restrictions.
Everybody's suspicious. You can't trust anybody. Why do they do it? Are they sick?
Just because some people steal doesn't make it okay.
It seems to make life harder for everybody. But what can we do about it?
Yeah, what are we gonna do about it?
I love that film. Early 70s. Everybody's ripping everybody off. Really phenomenal. All right. So before I show the last film, I just want to give a shout out to someone you would never imagine me giving a shout out to, and that is Brock Lesnar, who is a wrestler, boxer. I guess he was an Ultimate Fighter at some point. For some reason, there's a film on my YouTube channel where the thumbnail, everybody thinks that it looks like Brock Lesnar. And because of that, it has gone super viral, which means that the ad revenue that's coming in is crazy. Several hundreds of dollars. So I can't explain it. At no point do I say that Brock Lesnar's in it. And it's certainly not him, but that's what YouTube, the weird thing of YouTube, like how random it is and how crazy it is, but I'll take it because that money will go towards paying for our storage. Also donations that you guys make also help with storage and buying shelves and all that stuff. So thank you, Jeremy, for that. And thank you, everybody, for thinking that that's Brock Lesnar. And, yeah, so there you go. Okay, so this last film I'm going to show you, there's a caveat. One, the film is awesome. It's beautiful color. It's in Technicolor. But it's a Disney film. So there's a possibility that our show might get ended early. But there's some Disney films that are no problem. Some educational films that they put out, no problem. This one, I don't know. It's kind of on the edge. But the payoff is it's stunningly beautiful, and I haven't shown the film. We just scanned it this morning, and I'm like, man, I really want to show this. So it's got Walt Disney in it. It's got Werner von Braun, who was the Nazi rocket scientist who we brought over and was one of the key people that kind of got our rocket program going. Has a beautiful view of what the future of space travel is going to be like. It's an awesome film. So hopefully we will be able to show it in its entirety. If not, everybody have a great Labor Day weekend. I will be here. Well, I don't know if I'm going to pre-record a show. I'm going to do something for Labor Day. So, and it's going to be about work and workers because I am pro-labor. That's who I am. Anyways, here it is. Man in the Moon. Enjoy.
many people, a trip to the moon sounds like an exciting adventure. However, astronomers warn us that the moon is a very uninviting place. They tell us it has no atmosphere or water, and that a man would freeze in the shadows and broil in the hot sunshine. But desolate as it seems to be, man will make the moon one of his first objectives in the exploration of space. Here to show us how a future trip around the moon might be accomplished is a noted rocket scientist and space travel authority, Dr. Werner von Braun.
A voyage around the moon must be made in 2 phases. A rocket ship taking off from the Earth's surface will use almost all the fuel it can carry just to attain a speed great enough to balance the pull of gravity. Unpowered, it will then keep circling the Earth in an orbit outside of the atmosphere. This is the first phase. However, if we can refuel the ship in this orbit with fuel brought up by cargo rocket ships, it can set out on the second phase, the trip around the moon and back. To facilitate this refueling operation, we will establish an advanced base in the orbit, 1,000 miles above the Earth. This advanced base, or space station, will be headquarters for the final ascent to the moon. Our space satellite will have the shape of a wheel, measuring 200 feet across. Its outside rim will contain living and working quarters for a crew of 50 men. Access to the station will be through an airlock in the hub. The entire wheel will slowly rotate at 3 revolutions per minute. The resulting centrifugal force will produce an artificial gravity for the men in the rim. Notice that the floors are placed so that the men stand with their heads toward the hub. The wheel is divided into 9 sections. The first section is headquarters and communications. The next section will be for Earth weather observation and prediction. Military reconnaissance experts, aided by powerful optical and radar telescopes, will observe every point on the globe as the space station makes its complete trip around the Earth every 2 hours. Next is the emergency hospital section. And then the astronomy division, where men will keep an eye on the rocket ship as it makes its trip around the moon. This entire space station will have to be prefabricated and tested on the ground. When the day arrives for construction to begin, the thousands of parts for the space station will be transported to the orbit by our multi-stage rockets. We merely replace the winged passenger section with a simple cargo-carrying nose. These cargo ships will be unmanned. A passenger rocket, 1,075 miles above the Earth, will guide each of the 12 approaching cargo rockets to their rendezvous in the orbit. The cargo ship is floating in space, 2,000 feet ahead of the guide ship. 2 crew members make their way to the cargo head to begin the unloading operation. First, the motor and tanks are detached. Then 2 bottle-type construction suits are removed from the hull. When fitted in the airlock, each of these construction suits will receive an operator. Construction of the space wheel now begins. The sides of the cargo nose are mechanically separated. Built-in tanks of compressed air inflate this large plastic inner section of the hub. Thin metal plates are immediately clamped on the outside to protect it from meteors. When the airlock is attached, the pressurized hub section can be used as temporary quarters for eating and sleeping. Each succeeding load is carefully scheduled so that the parts of the station can be assembled in correct order. Nylon ropes prevent the parts from slowly drifting away. Next, the atomic reactor is installed. The wheel begins to take shape now as the 3 main spokes and rim sections are joined together. Condenser pipes are fitted next so that the atomic reactor may be put in operation. Even though there's no apparent motion, everything in the orbit is hurtling around the Earth at 16,000 miles per hour. the shell of the station is completed. As life on the station settles down to routine, the large reflecting telescopes will begin their work. These giant eyes relay pictures to television screens inside the station. One telescope photographs the surface of the Earth. Another keeps a constant watch on the Earth's weather, while the third is trained on our next objective, the Moon. The primary purpose of the first moon trip will be to test the methods and equipment to be used on later voyages into deep space. It will be essentially a scouting trip around the moon, and no landing will be attempted. To understand the plan of the trip, let us use this model. Here is the Earth with the moon circling around it. Since the first half of the trip will take 5 days, we must aim the ship well ahead of the moon so that they both arrive at about the same point in space at the same time. Here we have a scale drawing of the Earth with the moon 240,000 miles away. This is the elliptical path which our rocket ship will follow, going out and coming back. This model will show you how our future moon rocket ship might be designed. It will be 53 feet in length, has no wings or tail surfaces, because it will be assembled and operated only in the vacuum of space. For the hull of the ship, we are adapting the cabin section of one of the Earth to Space Station passenger rockets. To the nose, we have added a small atomic reactor. The ship's crew of 4 men will be placed 2 in the front and 2 back here. This is the directional radio radar antenna. Located underneath is the airlock for a spacesuit. The suit can be entered from inside the ship. Clustered around the rear of the ship are the 7 extra fuel tanks filled with hydrazine and nitric acid. All but the centrally located tank will be released when empty near the end of the return trip to cut down on dead weight. Even though we now have the theoretical knowledge to make a trip to the moon, it will be many years yet before our plans can fully materialize. However, let us imagine for a moment that the many problems have been solved and that after completing our space station, we are ready to begin our first voyage around the moon.
Ladies and gentlemen, through a worldwide network of radio and television, we are bringing you an on-the-spot account of the first expedition around the moon. Here at Space Station number 1, 1,000 miles above the Earth, the final preparations have all been made. Except for the time the rocket is on the other side of the moon, our radio and that of the station will be in constant communication with the ship during the 10-day voyage. As the moon ship stands by, the all-important pressurized spacesuit enters the rocket's airlock for the last time. During the trip, it'll be used only in the case of emergency. The captain is the last man to come aboard. He will direct the entire expedition from his position at the front of the ship. The navigator, with his specialized instruments, is responsible for plotting the unmarked path through space. The radio operator must maintain constant communication with the Earth on the space station. Finally, the rocket ship's motor and other mechanical functions will be the responsibility of the engineer. After final instrument check, the ship's crew lock themselves in position for the blast-off. Now, only minutes remain until firing time. The captain sets the automatic firing timer and reports to the space station. Last-minute orders are given.
Crew will secure and stand by for firing in 8-4 seconds.
During the first critical 10 minutes, the rocket must build up enough speed to coast around the moon and back. The captain receives continuous reports from the engineer. Sensitive instruments give a second-by-second picture of the ship's progress. The body-racking period of acceleration is over. The ship is on its way. There is no turning back. Weightless now, the crew members must make their first position check along the course to the moon. The stars are signposts for navigation. With incredible accuracy, automatic computing machines instantly give the ship's location in the void of space. This information must be continually relayed back to Earth. As days pass, the monotonous hours of the trip are relieved with various diversions.
Check the console, Joe. Try to pick it up.
Station 1 to
Bill,
RM1.
is your electrical system working?
Emergency condition. Repeat. Verify. Over.
Meteor hit number 2 nitric acid tank. Pressure's dropping fast. It's number 2, all right. Joe, put the air blowers on emergency power. Frank, get in the bottle suit and patch that hole. Don't use your motors near that leak. Try to reach it with the gripping arms.
Station 1 to RM1. Station 1 to RM1. Our instruments indicate emergency condition. Verify. Repeat. Verify. Over.
RM1 calling Station 1.
This is Station 1. Go ahead.
At 51 hours, 22 minutes elapsed flight time, registered hit by a small meteor. Puncture between Station 51 and 52, upper bulkhead of nitric acid tank number 2. Repairs are underway.
Emergency passed, damage repaired. The captain reports no injuries and loss of only 180 gallons of precious fuel. After 4.5 days, the crew get their first glimpse of the unknown side of the moon. At this point, radar contact indicates the ship is only 22,000 miles from the moon's surface. The computer informs the navigator that if the ship continues on its present course, it will crash into the moon. As the 116th hour approaches, the navigator must act quickly to avoid a collision with the moon. He starts the tape selector, which will automatically correct the rocket's course by firing the motor for a precise number of seconds. The instruments show the correction maneuver has been successful. The ship will skim across the face of the moon approximately 60 miles above the surface.
RM1, Station 1. We are now seeing the Earth disappear behind the moon's rim. This will be our last radio message until you see us on the other side.
Roger, RM1. Good luck.
The next few hours will constitute the most important phase of the trip. The moon is sweeping past the ship at great speed, and in the brief span of about 3 hours, all close-up observations of its unknown surface must be completed. As the night side of the moon approaches, flares are made ready for firing. After the barren desolation of the moon, the distant Earth is a welcome sight. Radio contact with the space station is reestablished. The ship is homeward bound. After 3 hours of total darkness, the rocket breaks from the moon's shadow into glaring sunlight to continue on its 5-day return trip. The irresistible power of the Earth's gravity has now changed the rocket's direction and is pulling it with ever-increasing speed back to the space station. At 240 hours, preparations are being made to enter the orbit of the space station. The ship's direction is reversed so that the subsequent firing will slow the rocket's speed and jettison the empty fuel tanks.
Firing timer set. Stand by for power maneuver in 3-5 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed the first successful voyage into interplanetary space. This pioneer trip around the moon will soon be followed by an expedition which will actually land on the moon's surface. Even now, construction is going forward on the atomic-powered rocket ship that will challenge the limitless depths of space and solve the mystery of the red planet Mars.
Oh, wow. I love that movie so much. I'm sure I saw this when I was a little kid. I don't have a recollection of a lot of 16 millimeter films that I saw as a kid, but that was definitely one of them. And so that was made in 1955, and that was shown on television. That was part of the Wonderful World of Disney. And so they would have, like cartoons, they would have true life adventures, but then they would do these kind of interesting science things. And I guarantee you that this instilled in so many future astronauts and future people that worked for NASA and aerospace engineers, and it just created this whole thing. My years are bad. Oops. All right. So, one of the things for your homework is to do research on Wernher von Braun and his working on a satellite before Sputnik launched, and how he wasn't supposed to do it. And yet he was, and he was very secretive about it. And so when Sputnik launched, there was this immediate shift in space policy in the United States, and Braun was there. He's like, "Hey, we got something. We got this Explorer satellite. We're ready to launch it," because he'd been working on it the whole time. So yes, interesting character. Unfortunately involved with Nazi Germany and all the horrible things that happened there, but also brilliant. And, we got to see his fleshed out idea of how we were going to make it to the moon. And what's interesting is they don't land on the moon, they just fly over it. So, compare that to what actually happened, and how we were sending stuff to the moon constantly, and we weren't building space stations at all. We were just well, it's just quicker, cheaper, faster to go and send stuff to the moon. Thanks so much for joining us today. That was epic. Maybe later YouTube will decide that that's copyrighted material, but I'm happy that you were all there to watch it. It was a gamble, and we'll take more gambles like that, because what the heck? I want to share the films I have, and that film is awesome, and so I wanted to show it to you. So everybody have a great holiday. I will be back on Monday, although I'm not sure if it's live or not. It's kind of depending on some factors, which I don't know yet. But otherwise, if I don't see you, have a great holiday. Think about the people who work for a living. All of you work for a living, I know. But think about the people who work the crappy jobs. And because those people keep things rolling. And I'm going to get in my soapbox. They should be paid a living wage. I'm getting off my soapbox now. All right, everybody, we love you. We'll see you soon. Be safe. Have fun. Take care.